Yep. I'm ready.
Alright, we're ready to start up. The March 11th, Oklahoma City Council.
Right at 7.
What's that?
Right at 7.
Right at 7, probably, yeah. Call the meeting to order and do a roll call.
Steve, Ward 1, Bowie.
Nikki Oyen, Ward 1.
Brian Greavy, Ward 2, interim mayor.
May Polka, city attorney.
All right, so go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance.
With the liberty and justice for
So it looks like first thing on here tonight is approval of minutes. If you guys got time to stay over. I did that CD thing. Yeah, I didn't see anything different in there. Actually, it was really thorough because our video failed last time. So Lacey did a little bit more thorough job. So
I didn't see anything either.
just looking for a motion to approve, I guess.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 11th.
And I'll second that.
Nikki and Steve, first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I should just put it out there, Edward's out, he had a birthday trip planned prior to getting on council, so I talked to him earlier, he's all at speed, but he's on a boat, so we can't
He's
get him.
cruising.
Yeah. Right. Approval of claims payable is the next one on there. The blue sheet. Anybody have any questions on anything on there?
No.
No.
Do not have any questions.
Approval of that, looking for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims payable.
Then I'll second.
Alright. Nikki and Steve, first and second, for Lacey there. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public time. Anybody would like to talk about anything? Come
I
on,
do.
just name, address, and stuff, yeah.
Yep, my name's Lynn King. I'm fairly new to the area. I live at 46 North 6th Street. I'm still easy to see it. Just wanted to say we have a home there with 4 small children.
Okay.
Notice we see increased traffic with underage operators of motorcycles and side by sides.
I saw it the other day.
I think there's a second grader that's got a dirt bike that's riding up and down the street
Yeah.
often. Not sure what to do. Want to bring it to council's attention. I'm an ER nurse by trade. And so I have concerns with not only the operator, but then the others around my children's specific.
We do a call to the sheriff's department.
Yep,
give them a
I'll
heads
get
up
a
on
hold
that.
of Nick.
I have the address of, and the child's name and parents' name too, so
Okay.
I have video evidence too. I don't know if that.
It was, you guys know each other.
Yep,
Yeah.
so I can get that from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could pass it on.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be driving.
I saw it. I saw it about a week ago.
Yeah, it's daily.
Yeah.
He was out in front of our house too.
And I know it's come up here quite a few times.
Yeah.
I think it's the one with him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's,
yeah, I saw.
On 6th Street North Side there.
The sheriffs don't have homes on the location.
Yeah,
When we have to call it in,
Sure.
I'm in the same neighborhood.
sure. Yeah, you're right back there.
Right, and I've got the park there, so that's a fun place to hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are more houses than that.
Sure.
I know a couple more.
I have 2 riders that I pay attention to a lot and they're both one's in 5th grade, one's in 2nd. So
So I don't know, they,
Brothers though.
they're not brothers.
They're not
2 different households.
they handle that. I suppose we can just give them the information. I don't know if they go over and just talk to the parents. That'd be the
Yeah,
easiest place.
I'm sure he would, yeah. And he stops in once a week, but I'll call him. I have his phone number.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind stopping by.
No,
Or even if we talk to the resource officer, so maybe.
that is him.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
perfect.
What's the council's guidance on homeowners and citizens here in Baltic? What, do we do anything or what do we do?
As far
As
as
far as,
something like that,
yeah, when we
Sure.
keep actions like that, make a phone call.
sheriff's department, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have the authority.
Yeah, that's
So,
why I'm here.
that's why, but we pay them for that and,
Yeah.
and, Yeah, I mean, I've done it before. You call them out emergency line and just say, hey, here's what's going on, here's the address. They usually, seems like we usually have one or two within minutes of town.
Yeah.
And they're pretty responsive.
And as far as like adult operators with like side by sides,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I mean, it's only March, and there's a lot of folks that operate side by sides.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it's no problem, but, the speed limit's the speed limit, I suppose, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And,
Well, they'll be coming out with golf carts here pretty soon.
right, so, and
oh, yeah.
You got your soup on.
I suppose there's not a whole lot of action as far as, a call to a speeding motorist with a side by side, is there?
I think.
I don't have my
It's-
razor gun.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
It is,
Because they've got to be there, I think, to
Yeah,
do the
no.
thing.
Not a whole lot a person can do to prevent that.
Right.
Okay.
You could stand outside with a hairdryer.
You, and I don't know what the council's reaction would be with, you know, I seen like the guy with the flag, the
Oh, yeah,
yellow
the
guy on
kid.
the street.
Yeah.
Is council okay with a person putting that out?
Sure.
I see them.
To kind of just bring attention to, hey, let's slow down a little
I
bit.
don't think we've got anything against it. Yeah.
And I would call if
Yeah.
he sees, because usually that's, they're making rounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're typically with either
Yeah.
in town, they're usually up on Lovely, over on Fifth, out here on.
I would still
East
call,
side town.
because it seems like when they're riding the side by sides or the dirt bikes, they're out for a while.
Yeah.
So by the time the cop gets there, I think they'd be able to find.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah,
And more of your neighbors, more of your neighbors call too, adults.
Yeah.
Verify.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, everybody kind of get on the
Neighborhood watch.
phone, right?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, set up the bat signal.
Excuse
You
me,
bet.
we also need to do something because they're riding the motorbikes and everything now on the park
This is
Yeah.
the sixth, yeah.
as well with it. And with this vintage of it, we've got the same group of
Yeah.
the teenagers up and down the street with the exhibition driving now.
And if you live there, that is the most obnoxious noise.
Oh, yeah,
I apologize, but I'm being honest with you.
I understand, yeah.
That's good.
But we'll, reach out to Sheriff's Department Resource Officer, kind of nice because, you know, he sees those kids in school, he knows what the kids are too.
Sure.
And then, he can address it, and hopefully then he may, with parents sometimes.
Spring fever set too.
Oh, yeah, so,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
I will say the kids are wearing helmets, so that's good news, but
Yeah.
should be operating that one, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Got all this gravel in there.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sandra.
speaking of spring fever,
Yeah,
I would like to discuss the frisbees, the frisbee park.
sure, you bet.
Okay. I'll bring my notes up if you don't mind.
Cassandra, can you kind of tell everybody your first, last name and address? Just-
Cassandra Green, Travel 5, Caitlin Avenue. So these are my points here that I would like to make. Our city has already acknowledged that there was improper planning in the building of this course, yet it is still allowing us as property owners to keep putting the bill for the repairs. And when I say that, I'm continuously, I had people on my fence as recently as an hour before we came. That I already paid $75 to have a custom made sign. They don't respect it. It's damaging our property. My house got hit by
Can
a
you tell these guys kind of what's going on? Just,
so apparently I've never played frisbee golf, I'll be transparent, but the last hole is positioned right at the top of Fifth Street at Baltic Heights. So when they're throwing any mark, those are coming into our yards. And these people, I've had broken beer bottles over my fence because there's no rules posted in the park. As in regards to no drinking, I've had to put the vet bills because my animal's feet have got sliced open because of these issues. I literally had to stand out there and people will argue with me about not respecting my privacy. Last year, end of season, frisbee straight to the side of my house. I got broken siding. It's not right to entice these people to disrupt our daily rhythm. We're about to approach the really nice weather. This has got to be removed or something.
is it just the layout? Is it where, like, that particular one's at, it's like, do they throw straight towards your?
That's the one that I have issues with, but in speaking with my neighbors,
Mhm.
it's the whole line of houses. This is how people are treating us as a group, that they can come onto our property and retrieve their frisbees, do as they please.
Along the north side of the park.
Yeah, You're doing, just asking, has anybody got any cameras up?
My neighbors have 360-degree coverage, but how do we identify people from out of town?
Yeah,
That's not a logical solution.
yeah.
And to keep, that's more money that we're putting
Mhm.
for something that wasn't even approved to begin with. Something has to happen now. I can't keep.
I know. We've talked about some sort of a natural berm back there, Justin, if you remember that, right? Grass area in there, some sort of separation.
Right, and that's where the city's acknowledging that,
Yeah,
that something needs to be done, but no action is being taken.
and it's, the unfortunate thing is we actually had people that didn't like the idea of the berms and grass. They're
That's
concerned
not
about,
gonna stop Frisbee from going there.
well, their hope is
Yeah.
putting distance in there, I think was kind of the deal, and some natural trees to kind of help it, yeah.
I asked you this, you tell me one of the city parks that does not have signs listed for rules. We don't even have that. That's.
Yeah, well, I think that's right about that.
Department.
Yeah, I will
Our
ask.
sheriff's department is working with not posted rules either.
Mhm.
If there's clear and concise rules, it makes things a heck of a lot easier. And I also want to bring up in regards to that whole area,
Sure,
it's been brought up already, the light is out in the park right there.
right,
Oh,
In the north.
That's good.
At the,
like this, is it like a street light?
There's a light right there and, you know.
okay,
and there is so much suspicious activity and we as homeowners can't see what's going on there.
Yeah, that's, so whenever there's a, just for anyone who doesn't know, when there's a street light out, there's a, on the Excel site, there is a place you can report that, so they come fix it. We actually don't do that. That's what Excel does, but I can let them know. And where'd you say it was?
Northwest.
Right, northwest corner? Okay, I'll let them know about that one.
Being right across the road, 105 Fifth Street.
Okay,
But so we're at a complete disadvantage is what I'm saying.
sure,
And continuing to delay it and keep tabling it and nothing's being done is just more liability. Because the honest to God truth is I'm gonna start keeping my bills. This is insane. I had to have steel posts for reinforcements on fence.
because they were climbing on it.
Yes, they're making it go like this.
Oh, boy.
It's
Yeah,
not,
have you tried reaching out to sheriff's department when that's happened, and,
and if we can't ID them and I can't go get around my fence to ID them, they can't help us.
yeah,
So something has to happen. They gotta get it down and or at minimum, we don't have rules. There's no good reason for that. Every other city park does.
You can go in.
well, I think the path follows the flow of the golf,
I'm not
right?
sure of the angle. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
The part of the.
right. I might have some questions for Ryan on that. Unfortunately, Ryan's out tonight. He's got a family
Yeah,
commitment.
you got.
Yeah,
We put those fences up for our security and our
Correct.
privacy, and we're completely being overlooked.
right. And I get the camera deal too. I mean, cameras are nice, but
Yeah.
everything's done by the time it's on camera.
And these are people's town primarily. And also at that point, I think I said this to Lacy, if we're gonna have this course and have the headache of this course,
Mm.
why is the city, is nobody utilizing that for tournaments and whatnot and making money off it?
Sure.
Right now, it's a nuisance.
Right. There is a lot of activity on
Oh,
there, if they're on that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why not do tournaments since other towns are lacking? Do some tournaments and make money on a weekend.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Right now, it serves no purpose but a nuisance.
Right. Well, if it's getting used though, I mean,
If it's being used properly.
yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's not the case in most scenarios.
yeah. Yeah, I know they used to go winging over on that Elm Street too. I mean, that was crazy. Well, like your neighbor to the south, John, they were in the backyard over there all the time. I said,
would it, Jake DeYoung is watching, would it ever work to move that down to the river park instead of?
it's pretty big.
Trees, I think would be.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, it's a big span.
I don't think there's nothing down there. The benefit of Wade's Park is just from some of the different
Right.
topography and stuff. You get the different holes, different lengths, et cetera.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the short-term solutions, you're exactly correct. You have the trail, you have the fence. I mean, you license some of that space. You know, the easiest solution would be to remove it in that area
Yeah.
to eliminate some of that. But then
Just a
As a
redesign.
council, you guys would have to understand, putting those holes in other parts of the park gets a little difficult. So what are the goals? What are the intentions of that Frisbee golf course? How does that relate to the community that's using it? And obviously respect to those private property owners too. So, you know, short-term solution is you can remove them, but how does that affect, you know, if you are going to be open from out of town, you want to make Frisbee golf? As a person, but I know they like
My kids like that.
9 holes or, you know, the standard or what. So.
Oh, sorry, this is Justin Hine. He's with ISD. They're the engineers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're from South. He'll say it better than I ever could.
Somebody takes a look at that, there might be a possibility of moving that 9 baskets to the south,
Shifting itself.
just get it away from the fence,
Yeah, just.
How close is that basket to the fence line?
it's pretty close.
Is it?
Probably about 8 feet.
Oh, really?
Okay, a little more. They're pretty close.
And it's at the top of the hill, so the Frisbee's always be facing up
Yeah.
Sure.
every single time.
Of course, if you get a good crosswind, then it's a no.
You mean South Dakota wind? Is that what we're talking? Is that what we're talking?
Or somebody that can't throw a frisbee like me.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely can't help.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Broken windows, everything else. It's been years of this problem.
Yeah. How long's that been up?
I have to be about 15 years.
We gotta go over these. I'm
It wasn't in immediately.
I think it was put up when Elaine was finance officer.
Okay.
I was told that it was put up when Wendland was in control.
Yeah.
he
probably.
would have
With
been
no
the-
discussion of anything, no planning,
Can,
and it was just kind of slapped up as this looks fun right now, we're gonna do it.
I don't
I
remember.
don't
I
know.
wonder if they,
can we do a redesign?
look at it. Yeah.
You know?
Talk to, first thing, we talk to Ryan and see if we can move that.
Yeah, if it's a simple thing, we can do quick, but.
I'll put one caveat and just move it,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
we think bigger, right? Because if those discs are going all the way up to the house,
Yeah.
if we look at the dimension from the fence to the house, I mean, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So one minor change on whether it's the basket or, you know, the tee box.
Elevation plan though.
I think, yeah, a lot of elements. And I know we looked into it once, so I can work with our, you know, landscape architecture team to maybe come back with some solutions on some of that, if you guys would.
Yeah, we talked to Ryan.
If that don't work, we can segregate a small, one of our tall fences we had for the basketball court that we got left. You know,
What's that?
yeah, should have them.
But are those really solutions if the neighbors to these, if you're all still having the same issue? I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
If it says redesign, whoever's having issues, we'd have to redesign it
Okay.
to make sure that the.
It'd be,
I'm just-
it'd be a big fix.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
yeah, maybe, but I'm saying this is the problem with it. Just wanna be sure.
do you have, and I'm just asking, do you have any trees inside your fence line back there?
Yeah.
And it'll clear those?
Yeah.
Or-
I have probably 25-foot ash tree in the middle of my yard.
Huh.
It's not affected if you care, but
Sure, yeah. I know that was kind of when we looked at it.
There are evergreens right in that
Sure,
corner as well.
yeah, they clear
wow. So there's some good arms showing up over there.
it. I don't know if people that good.
Well, at least they're going for distance maybe, huh? Yeah, I don't understand it, I guess. Frisbee golf, like I say.
But, you know, a simple couple weekends in the summers could make this city a lot of extra money.
Oh, yeah.
And it would bring an opportunity for vendors. I mean, you could make a lot of, there's a lot of opportunities that are being missed there.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna keep that, then let's utilize it properly.
You're right there. How many people think use that on Saturday in both? You probably see it more than anybody.
Good. So we're gonna need a lot of self moving, so that should be the.
Sure. Always.
What do you think, and how many people come on a summer day?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 15 to 20
Yeah.
on a normal day.
I think there's a group that comes up to Sioux Falls, and there's usually about 10, 12.
It's like a club or something or something.
It might be, I don't know.
I think there's other towns that have groups because they don't have access to it that count. And that's great, but like I said, then we're putting the bill as a city and not profiting. It's ridiculous. Do something logical.
Mhm. Exactly.
I would recommend if you're looking at signage to also put in their liability.
Right.
items. My folks live on a golf course and believe it or not, you are responsible if you break a homeowner's window on a regular golf.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that's the way it is in Hartford
And
too.
the signage is the enforcement. They've gotten in arguments on the lawn and went, check the rule. It says right here, and they've got checks for windows from using them.
We can even do something about.
Yeah, there's, I know somebody in Hartford, the same thing happened. They broke their window and
They like to argue because they go, well, you live on a golf course. Well, yeah, but you're the only shot.
You can have a closed kind of that park, and there shouldn't be alcohol.
I think there is. There is.
There's nothing posted, so how would I, out of town person?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if there's no sign up telling
There's
people.
nothing.
Yeah.
I know they had one when they had the basketball court for a little while.
Go down with the tennis and basketball.
Little tennis court.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not up in Baltic Heights, as I say, I've never seen.
No, not there, I'm talking about down at the bottom.
I've never seen anything. Justin, you ever seen anything up there for signage? I've never seen.
Like we have one we bring up for the skating rink, so I'll ask Ryan where he got that, cause
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty decent
It's a
size.
start, you know, yeah.
Yeah,
We could put them on the band shelter and really show them the band
Mhm.
shelters, so pretty high visibility.
My sign that I currently have posted about 18 inches by 12 inches,
Yeah.
and I paid 75 to have that custom made.
Some back of your fence line over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried everything. I mean, I don't know what more, and I'm inviting these.
What do you do? Like put your address on there, come around the front and.
It says to come to the front, it's got dog bricks to say there are dogs in there, because believe it or not, I don't want people coming around my area.
Right, right,
I mean, you know that they're nice, but they're
Right.
right to garden property.
right. Yeah, absolutely. You'd think that alone would be to people not
Yeah.
climbing the fence.
They don't.
They're daring.
One kept them out.
Wow.
But you
Pass
know,
now.
Well, it's definitely not ongoing liability, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's gotta be rectified.
Yeah. I'll check with Ryan too. We start out with some signs and see if we can do something from there. I'd like to go out there and maybe walk it with him just to see what
Yeah.
goes where.
Yeah, whatever.
Start somewhere.
Mhm. We'll look into that.
Yeah.
for you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know.
Fire away.
Sure, Mike Cooper, 412 Johnston, Aldi Fire Chief. Last week, March is kind of our month that we get to go to all the townships and give our little report for our activities from the prior year, so I'm still in the mood, I guess, a week later. I'd to stop by, maybe just
Yeah.
a few minutes of your time, kind of give you guys a rundown, maybe of our activities, I guess.
Yeah.
Calls and things like that, so we'll leave this, I think, for a little bit, but, just give you an idea of, you know, just do soup dinners and collect money and.
Mhm. It's good
A
soup.
little busy. Appreciate you coming, so, but yeah, last year in, 2024, then, the fire department responded to 134 calls for, service, which was down 10 to 12 calls from the year before, so we averaged pretty much anywhere in that 130 to 160, pretty regular throughout the years here lately, so. A majority of those, about 55% of those are medically related. As far as that goes, which, is kind of the standard anymore. Sometimes it's a little higher sometimes, but, 27% of those, calls are fire related. So we do a lot of mutual aid with other towns, the Rapids, Brooks, Fulton, Garrison, do our auto aid policies. Which is a big help because a lot of people are always lacking 30 days anyway. So we provided mutual aid 20 times to Billings and Garrison, like to Triangles, Crooks, in their response areas anyway. So we also received mutual aid from most departments as well, about 16 times. So it's pretty common that structure fires, gas fires, that type of stuff, we usually send more than one department. Just because it could be a bigger incident, need more resources, things like that. We just get them coming on the way. A lot of times we get called off before we get there, so, but at least we're on the way and moving. As far as those go. And then obviously we do a lot of other types of stuff when they don't really know who else to call. They're gonna look at something. They call it very friendly. So we become experts in a few other fields. Fire alarms, not only in schools, we're seeing more homes have fire alarms that are installed and they're answered by service. Medical alarms.
Oh, you guys
just know. What's
It's
that?
not bad called the fire department.
It goes to dispatch.
Okay,
They call
yeah,
us,
yeah.
yeah, they call us, so, We're getting a lot of the medical alarms anymore for people staying home longer. Nursing homes are full or closing. Yeah, that types of things. Some smoke and odor investigations. Lift assists are getting more common, things like that. Don't always need an ambulance response, which is a good thing, but they will call us just to go on a while. And a lot of times that's all it needs, one person to help them out. But, so yeah, the service calls, like all, about 16% of our calls, and then obviously we have the gas leads, power lines, the hazardous stuff that usually will respond to but yeah, out of those 134, then we have 92 of them during the day, which I would call like 6 in the morning to 6 at night. Those 8 hours, and then 42 at night, and then we have 34 that were actually in both days, 100 of them. And then we treated about 82 patients throughout the year, different incidents and accidents, things like that. So, but yeah, I just wanted to take a couple minutes, give you a rundown.
Any concerns for spring on dry weather?
Yeah, it's something. So, and it's, we appreciate, people using common sense and things like that. On days it's gonna get windy, it's typically like the days before, maybe where it's not quite as bad. Yeah, I'm gonna start burning this up real quick, well, then it never really gets out, so then the next day when the wind does come up. Also, probably that's, hard to get hit that, is it sometimes.
I was last year up on Lovely and 115. As far as accidents go.
We have a few there, we typically are out there 20 times a year, one way or another, hopefully they're not too bad, but.
Has this made a difference out here with the reduced speed out towards the interstate?
Haven't noticed any yet, no, but
It's pretty fresh, I know.
it's common. I mean, myself, travel that way twice a day at least or whatever, and there's always somebody walking, catching up dusk or all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars coming and going out there. I'm kind of surprised it took as long as it did.
Yeah, there's a lot of foot traffic anymore coming out of the trade port. I witnessed people jumping the fence and running across the interstate. So, that's probably not want to do that. Yeah, but we've spoken with DOT as well, and I think with the plans of the expansion there, they had some pretty good discussion about doing something there.
They still spending a bunch of Fed money out there, like some of the other parts of the county. I know they were working on a bunch of projects.
Yeah, I don't know as far as the trailer court expansion.
Yeah, well, no, the county on the road.
Oh, just the road.
A bunch of stuff going west. I didn't know if there's anything this way.
Yeah, they went, I think they got a lot of that stuff done, their culverts and all that. I think they got a road. They gonna finish a few miles south of Holden. There, that's a little stretch about almost 3 years now.
It's tight underneath those bridges.
Yeah, so. But yeah, again, if you got any questions for me, let me know. It's perfect.
I know on behalf of the council, we appreciate you guys, what you guys do.
Yeah, we're about 19 members strong right now, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Always room for more. So, go from there.
There you go.
No question.
Work it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public time? Zach?
Zach Nevin, 413 Kringen. It's a pretty high volume public time night, so I'll be as brief as I can be. First of all, congratulations on the transportation grant. That's exciting for all of us.
Yeah.
On a similar but unrelated note, I had a question on the path to this, on the south edge of the school between 4th and 5th Street. Was that, what's the story there? Is that is it getting paved or is it public space? Is it?
Are you talking like, behind the school? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
to the south of the school where that fire hydrant went in.
There was just actually a conversation that kind of come up on
Lots
that.
of
So
debates
it's
around that, so I want to be correct when people.
like above where those pipes went in, you're talking?
Yeah,
Yeah, there was like fresh conversation there. So, at least the school had asked about
The
it.
school asked about it.
I was gonna say, if anything does end up happening going there, I'm gonna keep pressing with the school. It seems like there's some positive thoughts on making sure that from that path to the school will be opened up for snow or whatever else we can do to encourage kids walking on that, just to avoid the hill on Fourth.
I just talked to
Yeah.
Eric Nassus last week about it, and he's really excited about that.
So anyhow, I didn't know if there was anything to say about.
Nothing
that.
firmed up or anything like that. Just kind of
He's really seriously.
yeah, Steve literally just talked about that. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Ben.
Who else?
I just wanted to thank the council. I just want to thank the council for putting up the ice rink. My family uses that a lot, so I know that might not be a popular topic, but we, the King family is very thankful.
We just like to tease around.
We hope it continues. I know other folks may not be in favor of that, but we are, so.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it very much.
Well, we'll move on to old business, Veterans Memorial, Fourth and Lovely. So, we did a meeting down here, Steve and I and Ryan Fods with some members of the Legion and kind of picking a place to do the Legion Memorial. It sounds like, I think we're good as far as we're all in agreement. If you want to say something, Steve, go right ahead, Mark, or, yeah.
I just wanted to, thank you guys for the moving forward quickly and for it's been a long time coming. I know that location we're talking about, it was years ago, was like the prime spot to put it, and that fell apart for reasons unknown to me.
Right.
However, and if any of us really, but I'm tickled think about it. I think it's outstanding.
That property he's talking about is on the corner of Fourth and Lovely.
So the old tennis.
It's the old tennis courts, yeah. So there was a caveat to that lot, and Ryan dug into it. I gotta look at my notes here. I want to say, basically, there was Fed money on that lot spent at one time. So it has to, the federal government has a say in what happens on that property. So as far as for development and stuff like that, it's kind of, wouldn't happen. So, and there's some water runs right there that comes through that way and stuff. So we talked, this is a great spot. And Ron Jenks, back in the day, that's where they originally were talking about putting it, which is fantastic, I think. That lot is really broke up weird, but we're talking about the area right where the concrete's at. Should work out well for some parking. And kind of what else are you thinking there? And maybe you can tell these guys.
So what we'd like to do is, focus on and meet the Legion. But what we want to do is we have our silhouettes that we have made. We want to set them up in kind of an archway. But I guess basically for us for this meeting, what we really need to hear is, yes, we can get to go ahead to use that land so we can get with some engineers.
Right. So I think we're all on board.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on board. I think,
Do you need to have a vote on that?
well, I think we have to have just some, and it doesn't even have to be like an engineering rendering necessarily. Just something on paper that you give Ryan.
Okay, right. I guess from where I'm at, I said, and I want you to understand, so
Sure.
I've got a lot of heartache and trouble with this. It's just been a long
Oh,
process.
yeah.
I said, so before we start spending money that we have allocated for this, I need the approval that it's okay for us to start rendering this pending the approval of the engineering design. Is what I'm looking for.
May,
I said,
I got a question for you on that. Can we do something like that without kind of a
pending approval.
plan or could we vote to do that?
You can have a motion and, vote pending,
Pending the renderings
necessary-
that you're
Okay.
requesting.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I
Yes.
said, so that way, when we go to the, because we've already got the go ahead from the Legion, as long as we get that go ahead, that the ground is good and working. We can go on our side and go and, if we have to pay somebody, make them renderings.
Sure.
Check and see people.
What's that? Yeah, there you go. He'll throw it in for free.
Don't you do so much of that kind of work every year?
Yeah.
Or more?
They said before we put any money in making.
Yeah, if you could do it
We
as a,
just need an assurance that,
yeah,
hey, we've got to go ahead pending this renderation you guys are needing. And we'll get online and on the same page of what exactly you need, so we
Sure.
can get it to you. But we need to be able to put two renderings together to take to the Legion, so that we can get the go ahead from the Legion on the layout and design, and then come back next month. So
Sure.
you guys can hopefully say, yeah, this is the one we're looking for. Because we want to plan on this, I said, we want this in the ground.
oh yeah, I'd love it up there.
Whatever you can want, you know, it's.
Yeah.
What would the phrasing be, May?
Cause are we approving the location?
We're approving the location.
That's what,
Yeah,
so I think if,
would it be like
I think I got you.
approve the,
I said, what you're looking for is, so if it was me, I'd say I make a motion to approve the location for the Legion's use for the Veterans Memorial Park pending approval of the renderizations, is how I would do it. But
Yeah,
eh,
May that.
Yeah, pending approval of, review of the application.
Well, that would just be like planning, like when you bring in a
Right,
house plan, building a new house, it's gotta
Yeah,
go through planning and zoning, so same thing.
yeah.
So.
So we're looking for a motion.
You get involved with that, so I'm
I'd like to
gonna-
make a motion for the approval for the Legion development of the park. Their silhouettes on Fourth and Lovely, pending their
Renders.
rendering their design.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Please, no. Good. Seemed that hard, did it?
Six things we got to
Agreed.
I know verbiage is everything and that's not my. Next one on there, unless you guys have anything else on the Legion side? Yeah. I appreciate they coming in too. Yeah. We haven't been this full in a while. So that's.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Going, Darryl.
Just a little update on Grand Park. That's an easy one. We were looking at doing a memorandum. We really don't need to necessarily because everything's in the agreement, which I believe we have on the city website. Sounds like, we talked about at the last meeting, the detention pond option for the one on Bulldog Avenue. They're gonna move forward with that as soon as the weather permits, according to today, is what they let us know. They've got a bunch of just housekeeping is things they're doing up there and we'll move all those graves, et cetera.
It's the issue with the pipe.
Yeah, so. ISD did a study down there, right? And we've recommended a pipe between Fifth and the detention pond. Essentially, would that be the right location, ballpark? There's been conversations with council members in the school, council members and the developer. They recognize that we can't force the city or the school to do that on their land, but we just recommended it. So, yeah.
That's the fact we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Anyway, that's really all I got from that.
Well, and the settlement agreement was signed, sealed and delivered in 23, so it's
Yeah.
time to move forward with that.
Yeah,
That's old business.
yeah, great, all right, real old business now. Yeah, new business. Planning and zoning, so.
They have to do that. So we can suggest who and
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes, all right, so I've got 3 names I'm gonna throw out there for P and Z. I don't know, do we have, you guys approve those individually?
What do you mean? I don't know.
Do,
Is he's got.
names, I got 3 names for P and Z. Do we have to approve those? Well, Steve,
So yes.
Steve, Jake, and Zach.
Zach, you did?
Yeah,
Okay. She said if you move to do them together, it'd be like explained candidates.
Okay.
instead of-
okay, so we can just do a slate?
If you'd like.
Yeah, so we've got some openings on P and Z, and I've got some recommendations, and I just want to throw it out, get a vote, we'll just do it as a slate. There's 3 names, they're all obviously from town, Jake DeLong, Zach Utek, and Steve. So just looking for a motion to approve those people for planning and zoning.
I make a motion to approve Jake Dillon, Zach Utek, and Steve Bovee for planning and zoning.
I will second. Favor?
Yeah.
Please, we'll pass that.
It's bad.
Well, so
We
we've got about that.
Talk about.
Planning and zoning will kind of have to talk and appoint it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I am recommending, Jake for, president on there. He's got a high interest in wanting to do it,
Good.
and which is huge. Half the battle is finding somebody who wants to do the job.
Yeah.
And, Lacey's made him a copy of the book, so you can study up on codes and ordinances. He'll talk to him about coming down, meeting with Ryan. Of course, Ryan knows that stuff inside out. He's eager to learn, and I think he wants to be more active. And I, again, like the idea of younger people coming down here, getting involved with the city, and then maybe they start on planning and zoning or something, and then move into council.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good stepping stone. I think. So, anyways. And I'll recommend that to planning and zoning next time in the private. So,
I'm good.
So do we need a swearing in on that?
you know,
Yeah, because I think they need to appoint them at P and Z.
yeah,
So we need to have a P and Z meeting to do. Right?
Yeah.
so we should
Because they're not in this.
schedule one right before. next
So,
week.
yeah.
I don't know that we have anything pending right now that requires that.
Well, we will once the Legion brings their record.
It's true.
Well, that's true.
And I guess we gotta do emergency, we can do but we can just do a P and Z and then do an announcement, right? And then, they can, yeah, that's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just as needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't really have them scheduled.
Yeah. Something we've got on here in our new business is just kind of, we'd like to start some discussion about Fifth and Lovely. Steve, you want?
I lived here for over 52 years, and Lovely Avenue is a highway for speeding and just kids running and, especially in the spring or the fall, school starts. And, now with the new school, the crosswalks are terrible. And the traffic in front of my house, I just live right here for 52 years in St. Austin. And, the traffic is just, it never slows down, really. It very seldom, unless there's a cop sitting there. And that's the only time you ever see anybody slow down. And it's been like that for as long as I've been. And, since I've been home with my injury, I've been paying more attention because more people have been asking about kids walking from the north to the south of the school or back home. So I've been doing my own, it's not a scientific study by no means, so, and I didn't take any photographs of anybody's children, not just to let you know. Because that's a whole other story, but anyway, but there is definitely a serious issue with the traffic up there. And I have talking to the superintendent, Dr. Bass, and he's in favor of this. But we want to have the citizens discuss it.
Yeah. We want to just kind of
We
throw
don't
it
just
to the top.
stiff arm them right into that deal because it's gonna affect everybody. But Del Rapids has got a four-way stop. Trent has got a four-way stop. Almost every town in there, they got four-way stops just to allow traffic to make it to school safely. I did talk to, some people from Boulder. They got four-way stops all around the school, just so they have safe passages for their kids. And, we don't have the resources like some of them do, but I mean, that four-way stop would be, I think it'd be the best option, to slow the traffic plus with safe passage for the kids. And that's my main concern, is for the safe passage for the kids.
And we have a survey service we could use, right?
Yep.
So I think maybe we try to utilize that, send that out as a survey just to get some feedback.
Yeah.
People's interest level. I know some people will hate the idea of slowing down. all that,
it's just, you
So,
know,
but I really think, like, especially in the summertime, there's so many
Yeah.
kids cutting across there.
Yeah,
can
And
also-
as Grant Park develops to the south, that's just a lot more traffic, and most of that traffic is gonna come out and go to the interstate. And I'd rather have them come out and go to that corner than cut through the school.
correct. Yeah.
I could also send with the people that get paper invoices. The
Yeah.
survey, that way it gets out to everybody that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Nikki, we've had these discussions in the past. People generally seem to be pretty in favor of
Yeah.
this, right?
Something, yeah.
The hangup always was, if the city wants to do anything with the road, the county says it's theirs, and if the county wants to do anything with the road, the city says it's theirs, so I think they came on the same page with that, like.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think
We'll
we just
probably
have
get
to-
approval from the company.
There will be some challenges, if you may, just from the engineering perspective. I'm still very, very, very passionate about making sure we get pedestrians safely to where they need to go, right? Top priority of mine always. I did a little research on some of these other communities as well, and Lovely Avenue is a different corridor, if we look at the type of roadway that is. A concern of mine that I would want to investigate a little bit further and I've seen fail in the past, is if you do just put traffic signs on an area like this and lawfully, we're gonna have to be very intentional on how we redesign that to make sure the visibility on the stop signs is there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because.
That's why I said get to this.
Just right now that, the pedestrians know that it's not a four-way stop. So we're gonna be a little bit more cognizant of the traffic. When we do have stop signs there, pedestrian awareness goes down.
Yeah.
But those cars that are traveling there, if they can't see those stop signs very easily or that change in traffic
Yeah.
control,
Yeah.
we start to get into a realm where it's
Yeah, we
not
discussed
safe.
having this digital signs appropriate for.
Absolutely. So then we can look at some of those side areas. I know, a little further down the hill by that billboard, there's a good site area, but then we also talk about connectivity with sidewalks. Because down that rabbit hole that we always get into,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So part of it, and getting a little bit into that path, right? We can continue to try to leverage that to get some of these improvements in place and really find safe passage using some of those speeding crosswalks, maybe better alternative
Yeah.
versus putting up a four-way stop, right? Because that's really gonna flash, that's gonna show those. I'm sure you guys see those in other communities and those are successful
Yeah.
in that.
So what about, where like the kids push a button?
Yes, yep, that's exactly what.
Is that what you're talking about?
And that's what I envision, right? If we're just kind of brainstorming right here, it's crossing that near call it the football field.
Yeah.
Kind of between them, right? You got good sight distance on both side, press that flashes.
Kids today pretty good on utilizing those.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kids will push
It's-
buttons.
That's true.
Push
Push the elevator.
And it's kind of habit too, right? So if that kid realizes how you can push that button, everybody sees the cars. do stop.
Anything that makes it better.
And really, what I see too, in these situations where kids are traveling to and from school, you're gonna have group kids that go there, push the bike across, kids push the bike across.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like an automatic crossing guard, just something.
Right.
Because they pulled their crossing guard off because of liability.
Absolutely.
And if the school didn't raise liability and they're letting their kids free range, that to me, that's not right. I just think.
Yeah, and I've heard people who talk about Dover and Douglas. Both of them are kind of tough, right? Because you don't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
Well, and last summer, there was a little guy that was walking a dog. It was after school was out and that dog got hit and
Yeah.
killed right on Douglas. And it was like, two kids, pretty traumatic. I'm sure, so. What if that had been one of those kids?
Yeah. We're gonna sit and wait for somebody to get hit, and that's not an option. To me, it's not.
No.
It's just, I've been really, ever since I lived here, that's always been an issue. That traffic has just been out of hand.
It seems to me like the commercial traffic is
Is the,
kind of dangerous.
Out of town,
Although before school, after school, there's.
That's a big point, those out of town.
Yeah.
well, we had an auditorium here.
You have. Right.
No.
We've had one a couple of
the
meetings.
guy that wanted us to raise the speed limit.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Because you got a ticket.
He actually came in, so he said he got a ticket out there and he wanted to talk to us about raising the speed.
Yeah,
limit.
that's not.
He said the sheriff's department said the city council gets set the speed limit. I started laughing immediately. I couldn't contain it. It was just funny. I just thought, well, that's probably never going to happen. He was a character. I did. He was a good guy. He was character.
I think that was in December, because I was in Virginia and I was on the phone.
It was funny. He said the sheriff was having a hard time doing the ticket up and he said, well, look, I gotta get going. I'm meeting some guys for breakfast. Can you just bring it up to the ticket up to Sunday Cafe? That was great. That was great. But I did tell him, we usually have somebody at the meetings that wants to talk about reduction of speed every month.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that'll probably never happen. We'll never touch the speed limit.
And that was the only day that wasn't here.
Yeah.
She was in here, that'd have been.
It was funny. Could have got heated.
But we can provide you guys some information, maybe a memo of.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, you look at statistics
Statistics,
and stuff.
just some things to think about and consider, right? Just.
Well, that might be a win for the kids, because it's like, let's go up there and hit the buttons and get across the street.
Yeah,
and-
you're right. I'll tell you, still love pushing
The
buttons.
bigger
You're
problem
right.
you're gonna have is I can think of about 3 kids that are gonna spend their summers. Just.
It's boredom buster. After the first 2 years, it'll wear out.
Hopefully when you graduate, they'll be done.
You know, honestly, on Fifth too, I come up Fifth, every day to jump, go to the interstate. And there's times where I'm sitting at that stop sign for quite some period of time. And then the people behind me are honking like I can control the jump in front of it. A four-way would mean alternations and that'd be kind of nice. Now, there's stuff to think about too, though, with
That's
the
one thing about.
the width of Fifth and bus turnings, because it is a narrow road. So there's a lot to it. I think we just start throwing it out to the people and they can let them kind of come back with some answers for us.
That survey will
We just
shed a
don't,
little light for us.
Yeah.
we just don't want to increase traffic down through Bulldog Avenue, that's the other day.
Figure something out for grass, set it out.
So that's-
As long as we got the ability to do
Well,
it.
they speed down the Bulldog Avenue too.
Yeah.
Well, the 15, it's funny, the 15 along the frontage of Valley View in the morning seems like people follow that. They do not follow it down Fifth Street.
No,
They turn the corner and it's pedal to metal.
yeah.
45 to the inner.
Yeah. A lot of it only slower, you only can stop for that, you just blow right through.
Right. We'll continue some conversation and see if we can't come up with something. And it's, like I said, I think it's important that the people who live here kind of get to make the call, so. Excel grant, ISG, superstar.
So I had put that on because you said he was going to talk about it, but I think that was the TAP grant that he was going to talk about.
Okay,
So we're gonna go over this for now because it's not till September.
okay. I
So
know.
we're gonna skip this one.
Good to know.
So you want to do tap here?
He'll talk about that in his,
That'd be it.
on his report. So I'll just, for the apparel order, I guess what I was just looking for that is we were gonna order some shirts. We haven't done an order in a while for our public works guys, some t-shirts. And we discussed possibly doing hats and maybe ordering additional shirts if we thought that maybe people in the city would want to purchase them. The hats that I should have had a picture up here, but they're the leather, gosh, what they like stamp it.
Yeah.
They're really nice hats, but I was hoping I could get an approval to have maybe like 20 of them on hand. And then, Steve had some ideas on maybe once in a while putting people's names out.
Throw in a hat and-
And do some giveaways.
Catch somebody being a good neighbor or something like that.
Yeah. So, you can get them cheaper when you order more, and I just thought that'd be something that'd be kind of cool to have on hand.
So you're doing like shirts and hoodies or?
So I found some polos for me and Trista here in the office. Ryan and the Public Works guys, they wanted some high vis shirts and then some gray t-shirts that we were gonna get, that anyone could get. And then, yeah, a hoodie.
High vis, sweatshirts also.
They wanted some Carhartt, the Rain Defender hoodies.
They can get them at high vis.
Oh, can they really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll look at that. So I've been working with Panther Graphics. That's who we usually use, and they can do all the logo stuff on there. And so, and it was fairly affordable. T-shirts are gonna be around $10 and hats were gonna be, the hats are more like 25, but they have that leather logo on it. So, I just thought it'd be nice to have something.
That's kind of near that dollar, right?
Yeah, and I think it would be,
Yeah.
it's within the budget, but.
Yeah. Don't order till I get up to you, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Engineering update. Water main readings.
We'll start with open infrastructure. No real update there. Hoping the weather continues to turn up and we can get them back out here this spring and get that one cleaned up with some of the latest items.
Yep.
Get that one knocked out. Main lift station project. ISU is currently working on shop drawing review. Contractor 605 is starting to procure some equipment and material on some of those longer lead times to try to get that one I'm ready to kick off this spring, anticipating starting in the spring and finishing here in the fall. Pre-con meeting is scheduled for later this month, so that'll really get the ball rolling on that one. As we've talked about, previously tonight, transportation alternative grant got accepted, or awarded, so that's awesome. Looking at that anticipated project along Sixth Street. ISG is currently working on a proposal for that project, as well as letters to go out to the residents that live adjacent to that project.
You have them drafted?
What's that?
Yes, I'm drafted.
Okay, I'll have it this week.
Okay.
Get that out to those guys, get them up to speed, as well as holding a public meeting for those guys, to just get them as informed as possible on what that project will look like. Any things you want to add on
Just
that?
a little fun text. So that project is Sixth Street and would include sidewalk essentially on the east and west side. So pretty much connect where it ends on the north and bring it all the way down to Lovely. We'll include crossing on Lovely to get to Valley View on the south side. And really we can show that connection that gets all the way from there through there and then over to the school. That was the big thing as part of this grant, where it can get the most return on investment. We chose that route, just based on some of the dollars that would get paid. Yeah, students are going a little, it's not really longer, in my opinion. Just they're a little bit more subdivision area to get to school. So that would be a 5-foot sidewalk on each side. That would be all within the right of way. So that's just another thing to note. There would be some driveway replacement as necessary, just to make sure we did our ADA. And so
Trees along there gonna come out?
don't anticipate now, when we get through survey and design, if there are anything, we'll work to notify the property owner. You know, everything is in the right of way, so it's not technically his property.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll work the best on our end because we understand. So that's
Especially
that.
if we're in the park.
Yeah.
On the park, you know, where that path is at. And I was looking at the map and I don't think we had something.
So that's where we try to capitalize on efficiency and have the sidewalk actually connected to the trail.
Yeah.
You know, and save,
Yeah.
100 foot or so.
Yeah.
Cost and then move down, because it's that off, that where it's just far enough, but just close enough where it'd be a little awkward if we had, a trail and a sidewalk going right
Yeah.
there. So that's where we, I'll work on that decision. So.
Any, like ballpark, what is it like? Is it like 82% coverage ballpark-ish?
So city share is
Yeah.
10% of that.
Yeah.
So total project cost is approximately, call it $490,000. So the city share on that is, call it $88,000.
And then we're gonna put down in some costs per linear or per running foot. Right?
So that's, a great conversation that 1.5 years, understanding where that city match is coming from, right? So
Yeah.
there's a couple different ways we can go about it. You can use the city general funds for it. Otherwise, you can do an assessment policy for sidewalks, right? And that's
What's Chris
kind of, we'll work with May on this to get a process down. But the biggest thing is we just want to make sure we have coordination. A lot of cities do have assessments on policies, not only like for sidewalks, but for streets too, and a lot of it's set up in that station. So it's really, really on the council. My recommendation is, whatever you guys decide, that's what you do to push forward, because there are a lot of areas that don't have sidewalks within the city, right? So if it's an initiative of the cities to get sidewalk, everywhere, just staying consistent with that process. Obviously, we can still work as much as we can to get some grants like this. It was alluded to me when we were going through the process of this one, we worked pretty heavily with the DOT to understand what some of the nuances were and have a strong application and turned out. They did know enough. I can't promise, we do have phased approach in here that you have a higher likelihood of receiving grant money on the second phase after you're selected as the first phase. So if you guys plan on going with the assessment route, we can work together. City would have an assessment policy in file. There's a whole process of going through to.
Well, we must have an assessment policy because when I moved here, there's an assessment around my house for curb and gutter.
Yep.
How long is that, can that be drawn up typically?
So typically, the homeowner has a year to pay for that improvement after project completion is done. If they don't pay the city within that, that goes to the county, and then I believe that's a 10-year period to have that paid.
So the assessment tax is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the phases then, the legend up here is just the phases you're talking about as far as the new development and stuff that. It's definitely gonna be work in progress because there's a lot of.
Yeah,
A lot of vacant areas up there.
It's not easy and it's not easy putting sidewalk in areas where there's no sidewalk and that's what we recommend that's an area. It's just something easy to be small, right?
There's just some area too where you get, I've drove it tonight, there's gonna be some dirt work and.
Yep.
And there's some city owned property along here too, right? I mean, you got the
Yeah.
park and there's actually, I think, is there one or two lots along there that we own? Just one? On the east side of the road?
Oh, yeah, there is one.
Yeah.
Street extension.
And then there's also a drainage area right there too.
Yes.
That's gonna be a little.
So
You typically do that, and you do great over that.
that's essential. I'll have to get a survey plan. I'll just have it going down with that water. You know.
And then you still have the mandatory like steel plates and the intersections, right? Is that the blind? Is that that's what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, just that street crossing so that they can understand their emotion is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the process would be is that we'll get a design proposal for next council meeting, or consideration. That process, and we'll get a letter back about letting these residents know that this project is in the works and it's coming. Once we get our design proposal accepted, they'll see guys out there doing a survey. Try to get a public meeting if we're going to go that assessment, just start, communicating that, we can run some scenarios to what that estimated cost looks like. For each property too, which always helps provide that, but at the end of the day, 80%. Cast over there, it's pretty good. So this is a great project.
80% coverage is
Pretty nice. $400,000 grant award is.
That's big.
We can't turn that down.
So.
And again, it's all based for safe passage.
Yep.
And we looked at initially, we looked at the fifth, I remember, and it was so dramatic.
So many, well, there's, those ditches are so.
Yeah, the cost would have been substantially.
You have
Yeah,
to redo the whole roads and.
yeah, that was
So.
just enough.
Any additional questions on tax rate? Just one other thing we have for you guys too, within the engineer's report, we have history improvements on that, so that was brought up last time. Just
I
to
got
give you guys.
to that with the next subject too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just a little update, we've been working with Brian, we do have a few tweaks now, and see it that we need to take care of and make sure that we're good to go, but I would be looking for, motion from the council to go ahead with bidding on that, that way we can get this bid in, March, but just to give you guys a little background on the project, just to make sure we're all on the same page. It's gonna be a rural pavement section, so that means no curb and gutter, it's just gonna be asphalt, just like, North Fifth Street. 26 foot wide, there's gonna be some minor grading in the ditches, there's gonna be some restoration. Speaking with Ryan, we're gonna have some of that hit as an alternate, and then have a decision at that point whether we award it based on budget amount. Some of the restoration stuff, Ryan said, depended on the cost, and then his crew would be able to do some of that work, so
Sure.
just trying to stay within budget. So our estimated cost is around 250K. I'm working on some of that final, just trying to keep that as low as possible, but
That will go
making sure.
right by the front of the new school then, right? The entrance to that parking lot, right?
Some of that, they have some of the paving.
They've got part of it up and then this will finish it all the way to that back street.
Yeah.
So it'll be completely paved.
Bridge to the south.
Simmons Bond driveway.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'd be nice, keep the dust down from blowing all over.
Yeah.
We'll keep the dust down.
Yeah, I mean, we had that in our budget for dust control over there, but that's just money we're spending every year.
Yeah.
This is a fix.
Yeah.
So that's the intent, it's not gonna be curb gutter, no sidewalk, no trails on that, just to make sure.
No, I just realized I was talking to Jeremy.
Oh, that's. Talking about finishing south.
There's no fighting, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be able to worry about.
You know, pavement.
There might be one spot where we need a culvert, stuff like
Okay.
that, and looking at some of that ditch drainage, finalizing that, but
So we just need a motion to,
motion was to give us, we'll go off the bid,
Get
once we, coordinate with Brian this week, we'll get her out. And then our schedule would be that we would have bids in time for next council. That way we'll get awarded the contract, so.
Okay.
So if you want Ryan to go out for bids or you're gonna?
no, they're gonna get,
We're gonna coordinate with Brian and just make sure he's good with all the plans.
Okay.
The same day or so.
Can't make it to one meeting.
You got it, Jack.
Yeah, and that was honestly the only thing I had, is I was just gonna mention that, for Ryan for public works tonight, is we need to, motion to move forward like this, so.
Well, I'll make a motion to move forward with, ISG to go ahead and go out and get bids for that street project.
And I second that.
Yeah, all in favor?
Okay.
Nays, no, all right.
Okay.
Well, finance officer update.
Okay, sorry. I was just, Jake's been messaging about the meeting, so.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so Public Works update, I was just gonna, since Ryan's not here, I was just gonna say we got the drinking water report from 2024.
That's right.
I put that up on the city website. So that is, you can view that if you want. Finance office update. Just a reminder of the Board of Equalization meeting on March 21st. I believe that's next Friday. Yeah, next Friday at 6 PM here. So if you have an objection to your property taxes, we have packets. Please. We have had a few people pick them up, but there's objection forms here, or you can get them online and print them out. There's also packets on kind of what a homeowner can expect or do for that. And I think that's my only update for that.
That'll be my first time sitting in on one of those. Is that something?
Are you coming down, Zach?
Yeah. So is that something that they have to, file ahead of time, or does it show up and see?
They got a form that they bring down so that we know that we have somebody come in, I think.
Yeah,
I've been to the meeting once or twice
Yeah.
just to see, but I don't, it's been years.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
we
will be
don't
my
really know.
first meeting.
Kind of a weird deal to me, because we don't set it, you know, that's the,
The
two,
county.
it's really the county school, that's
We
the,
just say yay or nay,
but to move them up the line.
but we always say yay, go to the no.
Yeah.
We'll have to catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, we had a person last year and their, you know, spot that they were in is realtor saying house is worth X, right? And that would put it right about where they're saying, however, they're saying, no, look, you go to sell this property, you got 20 grand worth of repairs you gotta do on this thing. So really, where's the real value?
Mhm.
And we're just, yeah, well, absolutely, we'll talk to the county. So,
And luckily this year she did hit that, her taxes frozen.
oh, that's fantastic. Did they move the dollar number on that? State,
I think they did.
that good, they probably needed to be. I mean,
Well, they
look at,
should
look at the
have.
real estate increases, I mean, they need just that too.
We'll have all of
Supposed to
that
have it in my-
next Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect.
It says
Community relations.
This Friday's on the board, so they have to have it here by then.
It just has to be postmarked.
So they have until March 13th, which is what,
2 days from
Thursday,
now.
to have it into us, and then we meet on the 21st.
So, we'll know.
We should know ahead of time how many we have, because there's,
Plan my friend.
or postmarked by.
It's, yeah, like last year, it was it 40 minutes?
Not even.
Yeah. It's fast.
See how bingo with the school. So.
That'll be,
Yeah, I thought that. We scheduled that same night.
Well, what time does that start?
7, I think, right? 6?
So.
Yeah, same time.
Well, see, it will be done before then.
Yeah.
yeah, start at 6.
It ain't gonna be that long.
I don't have anything for community relations update.
May. Yeah, all right. Well, that's it. Well, I guess we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn on March 11th meeting.
I'll second that.
In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
8:08.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that we were so busy.
Oh, we did.